This is US Case Stories. Today's episode examines what court filings, judicial rulings, and publicly reported legal analysis reveal about the ongoing legal dispute in Trump and his financial records, following recent developments tied to the United States Supreme Court. This video is presented for educational and informational purposes only. All statements are based on public reporting, court opinions, and expert legal commentary. Allegations remain allegations unless and until proven in court. This is not advocacy. This is not political persuasion. This is a factual review of what the courts have said, what has been ordered, and why legal experts across the spectrum say this moment carries unusual weight. For years, Donald Trump has argued that his financial records, business dealings, and internal communications should remain protected from disclosure, citing constitutional authority, executive privilege, and separation of powers. These arguments have been tested repeatedly in American courts, sometimes successfully, often unsuccessfully. What makes the current situation different is where the matter has landed, how quickly deadlines are being enforced, and how narrow the remaining legal options appear to be, according to multiple legal analysts. At the center of this development is a legal principle that has shaped American democracy since the founding era. No individual, including a former president, is automatically exempt from lawful judicial process. That principle has been reaffirmed many times in U.S. history, but rarely under circumstances involving such intense political attention and legal complexity. To understand why this moment matters, it helps to step back. The Supreme Court of the United States does not routinely intervene in disputes over financial records. When it does, it is usually because a case presents a constitutional question that affects not just one individual, but the structure of government itself. In past cases involving presidential records, including United States versus Nixon and later disputes involving tax returns and subpoenas, the court has emphasized a balancing test. That test weighs executive interests against the judiciary's responsibility to administer justice. In recent years, courts have repeatedly ruled that claims of blanket immunity do not apply to conduct outside official presidential duties, particularly when records relate to private business activity or actions taken before or after holding office. That legal backdrop is essential because it frames why lower courts, appellate courts, and now the Supreme Court have increasingly limited the scope of arguments used to delay or block compliance. According to publicly available rulings and legal reporting, the current dispute centers on court-ordered production of financial records and related documentation, with deadlines that are no longer flexible. Legal commentators note that the court's posture suggests a shift away from prolonged procedural delay and toward enforcement. This does not mean guilt has been determined. It does not mean charges have been proven. It does mean the judicial process is moving forward, regardless of political status. That distinction is critical. Another reason this case has drawn attention is the speed involved. In many high-profile legal disputes, timelines stretch for months or years. Here, court-ordered compliance windows are measured in days, not seasons. Legal scholars point out that such timelines typically appear when courts believe issues have already been fully litigated. In plain terms, courts accelerate deadlines when they believe arguments have been exhausted. That reality has created uncertainty, not just for the defendant, but for observers trying to understand what comes next. Public reaction has been intense, but it is important to separate reaction from record. Courts speak through written opinions, orders, and filings. Those documents matter more than speculation, social media posts, or political commentary. When courts issue orders that include warnings about consequences for non-compliance, they are signaling seriousness, not theater. Legal experts across ideological lines have noted that courts tend to reserve such language for situations where defiance is considered a real risk. There is also a broader institutional question at play. If courts allow prolonged non-compliance from high-profile figures, it weakens enforcement for everyone else. That concern appears repeatedly in judicial reasoning across decades. As one former federal judge stated in a televised interview, the law either applies uniformly or it loses authority. That principle, not partisanship, is what many analysts say is driving judicial urgency. We will examine what types of records courts typically compel in cases like this, how those requests are legally justified, and why financial documentation often plays a central role in complex investigations. We will also explore how courts distinguish between private business activity and protected official conduct, and why that distinction matters more than ever in this case. Before we continue, if you value calm, fact-based analysis of real U.S. court cases, consider subscribing to U.S. Case Stories. Your support helps keep these explanations accessible, measured, and respectful. Now, let's move deeper into the legal structure behind the orders themselves. As of the latest Supreme Court decision, Donald Trump and his legal team have been ordered to produce a broad set of financial records, internal business communications, and other documents, all within a defined and non-negotiable timeline. The court's opinion, authored by Chief Justice John Roberts, emphasizes several key points. Scope of the request. The subpoena does not cover presidential acts performed in office but is focused on personal and business financial matters, which courts have consistently held fall outside claims of immunity. Finality of review. All lower court decisions rejecting Trump's delay and privilege claims have now been exhausted. The Supreme Court's order is effectively final, leaving no further legal appeals at this level. Compliance deadline. Courts have emphasized immediate compliance, creating a 72-hour window from the time of the ruling. Failure to comply may lead to contempt proceedings, civil fines, or even pretrial detention. Public interest and transparency. The ruling reinforces a principle that the judiciary cannot be obstructed by political position. Judges may not favor or exempt high-profile figures, and the law applies equally to everyone. Legal analysts note that this scenario is unusual in its combination of secrecy, speed, and scope. Typically, high-profile financial disputes involving former presidents follow a prolonged timeline. Parties have months to prepare filings, objections, and responses. Oral arguments may be scheduled publicly, and the press can cover proceedings in detail. Here, the combination of sealed grand jury proceedings and accelerated deadlines creates a situation that legal experts describe as rare and consequential. In fact, several former prosecutors have emphasized that this level of judicial urgency signals confidence in the legal foundation of the subpoena. Courts rarely accelerate deadlines without clear reason, suggesting that the documentation sought is central to ongoing investigations. So what types of records are being requested? The categories generally fall into three major areas. Financial records. Complete business records dating back several years, including loan agreements, foreign transactions, property valuations, and internal accounting documents. Legal experts explain that these documents help determine patterns of financial behavior and verify the accuracy of prior filings. Communications with foreign nationals. While details are redacted for national security, reporting indicates that communications with certain foreign entities or individuals are under review. Courts typically protect sensitive information but still require disclosure to verify legality and compliance with U.S. law. Documents relating to political activities. Any materials connected to foreign contributions, foreign assistance, or campaign-related financial transactions. These areas intersect with federal statutes that regulate foreign influence on U.S. elections, making compliance a critical legal obligation. Each of these categories has precedent in prior litigation. For example, during the Nixon-era Watergate investigation, financial and communications records were pivotal in establishing evidence, despite claims of executive privilege. It is important to note a common misconception. Courts do not issue these orders as a form of punishment. The purpose is legal fact-finding, which ensures transparency, accountability, and the application of law regardless of political rank. Even when the media frames these developments in sensational terms, the legal process itself is procedural. Judges issue orders, review evidence, and enforce deadlines, all within established legal standards. Trump's legal team has historically challenged subpoenas using arguments such as executive immunity, constitutional privilege, and delay tactics. In previous cases, some of these arguments slowed proceedings. Here, courts have explicitly rejected those strategies, leaving compliance as the primary option. Another critical dimension is the role of secrecy and confidentiality. Sealed proceedings are unusual. They are generally reserved for cases involving national security, ongoing criminal investigations where premature disclosure could compromise evidence, confidential witness testimony. These conditions create a legal environment where even attorneys must operate with limited information. Analysts point out that this adds operational pressure and underscores the importance of following procedural rules carefully. Public commentary, especially on social media, has already become part of the story. Statements made by high-profile figures criticizing the court's decision are often considered evidence of intent in contempt proceedings. Judges can use such commentary to assess whether non-compliance is deliberate. This highlights a broader lesson for audiences. Courts prioritize action over rhetoric. Legal compliance is non-negotiable, regardless of public messaging or media campaigns. In the next section, we will explore possible implications of the document's content, connections to other legal matters involving former presidents, how courts balance public interest with confidentiality. This analysis will provide context for why the 72-hour compliance window is not simply procedural. It is a strategic enforcement decision by the judiciary. Before we move forward, remember that subscribing to U.S. Case Stories ensures you receive clear, unbiased analysis as this case continues to unfold. Press the like button if you value factual breakdowns over speculation, and leave a comment sharing your perspective on how the legal process affects public trust in governance. Now that we understand the Supreme Court's ruling and the strict 72-hour compliance window, the next question is, what exactly might these documents contain, and why are they so consequential? While the exact details remain sealed, experts analyzing public filings and reporting suggest the subpoena targets three broad areas: financial transparency, foreign communications, and campaign-related transactions. Each of these areas carries distinct legal risks for Donald Trump and could reshape public understanding of his business and political conduct. The first set of documents requested includes all corporate financial records dating back several years. This encompasses loan agreements with domestic and foreign institutions, property valuations used for tax filings or collateral, communications between Trump entities and financial institutions regarding asset reporting. Legal analysts emphasize that patterns in financial documents often reveal discrepancies that could indicate fraud or regulatory violations. For a former president with complex business dealings spanning multiple countries, these records are critical to verifying claims of legality and transparency. Furthermore, financial investigations of this depth are unusual in their breadth. Requests dating back multiple years suggest prosecutors are looking for patterns rather than isolated incidents, which could potentially affect multiple civil and criminal matters. The subpoena also targets correspondence and communication with certain foreign individuals or entities, many of whose identities remain redacted due to national security concerns. While the specifics are not publicly disclosed, the legal implications are significant. Potential links to foreign governments or intelligence operations, verification of compliance with federal laws on foreign influence, evidence regarding undisclosed meetings, agreements, or financial transactions. Courts often classify these communications as sensitive, meaning attorneys must carefully review them for privilege and confidentiality issues. Any failure to fully disclose relevant documents could constitute a violation of court orders, which in this scenario could result in contempt charges or pretrial detention. The third category involves documents related to electoral activity and foreign assistance. U.S. law strictly prohibits soliciting contributions from foreign nationals, accepting foreign donations for political campaigns, coordinating election-related activities with foreign entities. By requesting documents in this category, prosecutors may be investigating whether Trump or his associates knowingly violated federal campaign finance regulations. Legal experts suggest that this could represent a level of inquiry not fully captured in previously publicized cases. Why does this matter beyond legal compliance? Courts and analysts agree that the exposure of such documents could reveal previously unknown financial or political connections. Affect ongoing investigations in other jurisdictions. Influence public opinion by clarifying the scope of Trump's business and political dealings. Importantly, the Supreme Court's order signals that these records are considered essential evidence, not mere supporting materials. The urgency of the 72-hour window underscores the court's assessment of risk. Delayed or incomplete compliance could compromise justice. Legal professionals stress that the risks of failing to comply are serious. Beyond civil fines, the court explicitly warned that non-compliance could lead to pretrial detention even for a former president. Statements made publicly in response to the order, on social media or elsewhere, could be used as evidence of intent, further complicating defense strategies. In short, compliance is non-negotiable. Delay tactics have been exhausted. Any obstruction may carry immediate penalties. This sets a precedent for how courts handle high-profile figures and complex investigations, balancing legal authority with public transparency. Finally, the release of these documents will almost certainly affect media coverage and public perception. While the content itself may remain partially sealed for national security reasons, the public will likely learn key facts about Trump's business and financial conduct, evidence of interactions with foreign entities, clarification on campaign finance compliance. Courts often allow selective disclosure through press statements, redacted filings, or summaries, ensuring that the public's right to know is balanced against security and privacy concerns. This brings us to a critical insight. Trump's legal team is facing a unique combination of operational, strategic, and public relations challenges. The compressed 72-hour deadline, combined with the volume of documents and sensitivity of information, makes compliance both urgent and complex. Before we continue, remember to subscribe to US Case Stories, click the bell icon, and leave a comment sharing your thoughts on whether Trump will comply. Your engagement helps this information reach more people who want accurate, detailed updates. With the Supreme Court's ruling demanding compliance within 72 hours, the question on everyone's mind is, how might Donald Trump and his legal team respond, and what obstacles lie ahead? Legal experts agree that the window for maneuvering is exceptionally tight. Unlike prior court battles, this sealed proceeding leaves almost no room for traditional delay tactics, appeals, or procedural maneuvers. The urgency of the order reflects the court's frustration with past attempts to stall legal processes, sending a clear message: this is non-negotiable. Trump's attorneys face a daunting logistical challenge. They must locate potentially millions of pages of financial and business records, review communications spanning multiple years for attorney-client privilege, ensure completeness while meeting the strict 72-hour deadline. This is a Herculean task, especially considering the diversity and volume of Trump's holdings, which include real estate properties across multiple states, corporate filings and LLC communications, personal financial transactions linked to foreign entities. Even with a large legal team, compliance under this timeline pushes the boundaries of feasibility, forcing the team to prioritize critical documents while risking oversight. One of the biggest challenges lies in determining which documents are protected by privilege. Attorney-client communications, executive documents, and confidential national security information must be carefully reviewed before submission. Any misstep could result in inadvertent disclosure of sensitive information, accusations of obstruction or non-compliance, contempt proceedings with potential pretrial detention. Legal analysts emphasize that the stakes are unprecedented. A former president facing contempt for failing to comply with a Supreme Court order. The margin for error is minimal. Trump's team must also account for public perception and political fallout. Social media posts or public statements about the ruling could be scrutinized as evidence of intent. For example, any claims that the order is illegitimate may be used against him in court. Public attacks on judges or prosecutors could complicate the defense. Timing of statements is critical to avoid appearing to influence ongoing proceedings. The intersection of legal strategy and public relations is particularly challenging for high-profile figures, where every word carries potential consequences. Unlike other legal cases where appeals and motions for extensions are standard, the Supreme Court's ruling explicitly limits delay. No additional appeals are permitted. No new motions for reconsideration will be entertained. Compliance is mandated within 72 hours. This forces the defense to operate under extreme time pressure, increasing the likelihood of strategic miscalculations. In some cases, cooperation can mitigate penalties or influence outcomes. For Trump, cooperating could reduce risk of contempt proceedings, demonstrate good faith compliance to the court, possibly limit exposure for newly discovered evidence. However, cooperation may also reveal new legal vulnerabilities. Each document submitted is subject to review by federal prosecutors, who may expand investigations based on what is uncovered. Reports indicate tension among Trump's attorneys. Challenges include differing interpretations of compliance obligations, ethical concerns regarding privileged materials, pressure of coordinating document review under extreme time constraints. Some attorneys are reportedly considering withdrawal, which would compound the difficulty by introducing new counsel unfamiliar with the case history. Experts suggest that the combination of the speed of compliance required, the sheer volume of materials, the sensitivity of certain documents, creates an environment where missteps are almost inevitable. Any error could be framed as obstruction of justice, amplifying both legal and public consequences. The sealed nature of the investigation means that even Trump's closest advisors may not know the full scope. This secrecy adds uncertainty. Legal teams must work with incomplete information. Decisions are made under heightened risk. Misjudgments could lead to serious penalties. This underscores the unique complexity of this case compared to prior Supreme Court confrontations. From a political perspective, these legal pressures could influence Trump's decision-making for future campaigns, messaging strategies in public appearances, supporter perceptions regarding transparency and credibility. Ultimately, legal strategy and political strategy are intertwined, but in this case, the law dictates the timeline and scope, leaving little room for maneuvering. Before we move on, remember to subscribe, like, and comment. Let us know, do you think Trump can realistically comply with the 72-hour deadline, or will his team struggle under this unprecedented pressure? Your engagement helps this story reach viewers who want in-depth legal analysis and accurate reporting. As the 72-hour deadline looms, the real question is, what will prosecutors do with the documents once they are submitted? Legal analysts suggest that these records could dramatically expand the scope of existing investigations. The requested materials are not limited to routine financial statements. They cover three primary areas of concern: financial transactions and valuations dating back to 2015, communications with foreign nationals whose identities are partially redacted, potential electoral influence or foreign contributions, which may involve campaign finance violations. Each of these areas presents unique challenges for Trump and his defense team, and equally significant opportunities for prosecutors. The demand for extensive financial records could provide prosecutors with concrete evidence to confirm or refute long-standing allegations of financial misrepresentation. Key points include: inflated property valuations could demonstrate systematic overstatement to secure loans or favorable tax treatment. Foreign entity transactions could expose unreported income, tax violations, or potential money laundering. Patterns of financial behavior might reveal coordinated efforts to obscure financial realities from lenders, investors, or regulatory agencies. Experts warn that even minor discrepancies, when aggregated across years of records, can form the basis for new charges beyond previously known cases. The subpoena also seeks emails, messages, and other correspondence with foreign individuals whose identities remain partially confidential for national security reasons. Analysts highlight several key risks. Potential contacts with foreign intelligence operatives. Undisclosed negotiations involving property, business, or political interests. Evidence of interactions with foreign officials outside official channels. Such communications could be particularly sensitive if they reveal coordination or attempts to influence U.S. policies, elections, or financial transactions. Legal experts note that these documents could be pivotal in establishing intent and knowledge, which are critical elements in criminal prosecutions. The third category of concern, foreign contributions or benefits linked to election activities, carries serious federal implications. Federal law prohibits foreign nationals from contributing to U.S. political campaigns. Accepting or soliciting such contributions constitutes a serious violation of campaign finance regulations. Evidence of these actions could form the foundation for new criminal charges. Analysts caution that the breadth of the subpoena signals prosecutors are exploring potential systemic misconduct rather than isolated incidents. This could fundamentally change the narrative around Trump's political and legal exposure. Once the documents are produced, Trump has two paths. Full compliance demonstrates good faith, reduces contempt risk, and may help manage public perception. Partial compliance or resistance risks immediate contempt proceedings, civil and criminal penalties, and possible pretrial detention. Legal analysts emphasize that any misstep can have dramatic consequences, particularly because the Supreme Court has already indicated that further delays will not be tolerated. The confidential nature of this investigation makes the stakes even higher. Trump's legal team may not have the full context for all documents requested. Missing or incomplete submissions could be viewed as intentional obstruction. Prosecutors could leverage any gaps to expand the investigation or pursue contempt charges. In effect, the secrecy surrounding the subpoena amplifies both legal risk and operational pressure, leaving Trump's defense team in an extremely precarious position. The ruling has far-reaching implications beyond Trump personally, scholars suggest, establishing precedent for handling sealed subpoenas for former presidents, reinforcing that executive privilege and immunity have limits in criminal investigations, demonstrating that even high-profile figures are subject to judicial oversight without delay. Historically, Supreme Court actions of this magnitude are rare. The combination of secrecy, urgency, and legal authority marks this as a potentially landmark decision. The release of these documents, whether fully or in part, will inevitably attract extensive media scrutiny. News outlets will analyze content for evidence of wrongdoing. Social media narratives may amplify public perception, shaping political implications. Misinterpretation or partial leaks could influence public opinion before formal charges are filed. Legal analysts advise caution. How these materials are handled publicly could affect ongoing investigations as well as Trump's political and legal strategies. The defense faces critical choices. Prioritize sensitive documents to mitigate risk. Limit exposure while complying with the court's timeline. Navigate internal ethical concerns and team coordination. Failure to effectively manage these elements could trigger cascading legal consequences, including expanded investigations, contempt, or additional charges. For viewers following U.S. politics and the law, understanding these proceedings is essential. The Supreme Court's ruling reflects unprecedented judicial authority. Compliance deadlines are unusually strict. The potential consequences for a former president are historically significant. Keeping informed allows citizens to grasp the stakes, the legal process, and the broader impact on democracy. Before we continue, remember to subscribe, like, and comment. What do you think? Will Trump comply fully or attempt resistance? Your perspective fuels discussion and helps other viewers understand the gravity of this historic case. To fully understand the magnitude of this Supreme Court ruling, it's essential to compare it to previous landmark decisions involving presidents and national security. The actions taken in this case are unprecedented in several ways. The most commonly cited historical precedent is United States versus Nixon, 1974. President Nixon was ordered to release White House tapes to federal prosecutors. The case involved checks and balances, demonstrating that no one is above the law. Nixon had time to prepare, and the proceedings were public. In contrast, the current Trump case differs in key ways. The proceeding was sealed, with no public docket or advance notice. Trump's attorneys were caught off guard, learning of the Supreme Court ruling through breaking news alerts. The compliance deadline is 72 hours, far shorter than historical norms. This creates a level of urgency and surprise not seen in previous presidential legal cases. Traditionally, former presidents have argued executive privilege or immunity to shield documents. However, courts have consistently ruled, privilege is not absolute, especially in criminal matters. Sealed subpoenas can override public and political considerations. Compliance with judicial authority is mandatory. The Trump ruling reinforces that even a former president's legal defenses have limits when documents are relevant to criminal investigations. Supreme Court rulings involving national security are rare. They typically include classified intelligence operations, counterterrorism cases, investigations involving foreign intelligence. The Trump subpoena is unusual because it blends political, financial, and potential national security concerns, all under strict confidentiality. Analysts argue this is a historic combination. Never before has a former president faced this degree of secrecy and urgency simultaneously. Legal scholars are emphasizing broader consequences. Future presidents may be limited in invoking immunity or secrecy to avoid accountability. Courts may feel empowered to act more swiftly in high-profile cases. The precedent reinforces the principle that judicial authority applies equally to all citizens, regardless of political stature. Constitutional law experts suggest that this ruling could reshape how executive privilege is interpreted in U.S. history, setting a new benchmark for oversight. Supreme Court rulings always carry public perception implications. For Trump, the combination of secrecy, urgency, and potential exposure could affect political strategy and future campaigns, media narratives, particularly on social media platforms, public trust and credibility. It is noteworthy that historical comparisons like Nixon show that legal outcomes often translate directly into political consequences. The public may interpret compliance as weakness or resistance as defiance, but legally, neither option is risk-free. Legal analysts predict several potential strategies that prosecutors and defense teams may employ. Prosecutors prioritize reviewing key documents, looking for evidence to expand charges or reinforce existing cases. Defense focus on compliance, protecting privileged communications, and mitigating public fallout. The 72-hour window increases the pressure, requiring rapid coordination across legal, political, and communications teams. The combination of secrecy, volume of documents, and potential legal consequences creates a scenario unlike anything seen in modern U.S. history. For Americans watching the unfolding situation, several lessons emerge. Judicial processes can move swiftly even against high-profile individuals. Compliance with subpoenas and court orders is non-negotiable. Secrecy in proceedings does not indicate immunity, but rather extraordinary oversight measures. Understanding these principles allows viewers to interpret news developments accurately rather than relying solely on partisan commentary. Media coverage plays a critical role in shaping understanding. Accurate reporting ensures citizens know what is legally required and what is speculation. Overly sensational coverage can distort perception, leading to misinformed public reactions. Channels like this one aim to clarify legal details, provide context, and encourage thoughtful engagement. Subscribers are encouraged to comment, ask questions, and share the video with others, fostering an informed community around U.S. law and political accountability. Before moving forward, remember, click subscribe and enable notifications. Press like if you value clear, detailed legal analysis. Comment with your perspective. Will Trump comply fully, partially, or resist? Your engagement ensures that these updates reach more viewers who want trustworthy, fact-based insights. In the next section, we will analyze the specific contents that Trump's financial records might reveal, explore potential scenarios, and discuss how prosecutors could leverage these documents for both legal and political impact. Stay tuned as we continue dissecting this historic case in unparalleled depth. As the 72-hour deadline looms, legal analysts are turning attention to what the Supreme Court-mandated documents could contain. The subpoena covers three major areas: financial records, foreign communications, and possible electoral-related items of value from foreign sources. Each category could significantly reshape our understanding of Trump's legal and political exposure. The request for financial records is comprehensive and historic. Documents dating back to 2015 include loan agreements, property valuations, and foreign transactions. Past civil fraud cases alleged inflated property values, but the subpoena could reveal patterns of systematic misrepresentation. Analysts highlight the potential for uncovering money laundering, unreported foreign income, or violations of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. These records are not just routine accounting. They could demonstrate long-term strategies, internal communications, and decision-making processes that were previously hidden from both the public and the courts. The subpoena also demands communications with specific foreign nationals, many redacted due to national security. This is beyond standard business interactions. Could involve Russian oligarchs, foreign officials, or intelligence-linked individuals. Analysts suggest these records might clarify unresolved questions about Trump's foreign dealings during and after his presidency. This element introduces a counterintelligence dimension, which explains the Supreme Court's insistence on secrecy. National security concerns require these documents to remain confidential until properly analyzed in a legal context. Perhaps the most politically sensitive aspect is the subpoena's focus on items of value obtained from foreign sources for electoral purposes. Federal law prohibits foreign contributions to U.S. campaigns. The documents may reveal whether Trump or associates solicited, accepted, or coordinated foreign assistance. This aligns with prior investigations but could introduce new evidence, expanding the scope of legal exposure. Legal experts warn that the confluence of financial, foreign, and electoral data could form the foundation for new charges, beyond those currently public. The timing and breadth of this subpoena create unprecedented pressure. Non-compliance within 72 hours risks civil or criminal contempt, potentially leading to pretrial detention. Even partial compliance could expose gaps or inconsistencies, which prosecutors can use against Trump. Public statements on social media could serve as evidence of intent, strengthening the case for contempt if he resists. The combination of scope, secrecy, and immediate deadlines makes this legally perilous for any high-profile individual, including a former president. The potential revelations in these documents have broad political implications. Democrats may argue this confirms long-standing concerns about foreign influence. Republicans may perceive this as judicial overreach or political targeting. Independents and undecided voters may be influenced by the sheer magnitude and transparency of the legal process. Analysts predict that public opinion will hinge not just on the content of the documents, but on Trump's response and perceived willingness to comply with the law. News outlets are tasked with accurate and responsible reporting. Overhyping partial leaks could misinform citizens. Responsible outlets focus on verified details, expert analysis, and legal context. Our channel's approach is to provide clear, factual insights while contextualizing potential implications. This method ensures that viewers are informed without being manipulated by sensationalism, promoting a more thoughtful understanding of the legal process. Historians and legal scholars compare this situation to Watergate and other executive accountability cases. Watergate involved extended public litigation, giving the president time to respond. Here, the compressed timeline, secrecy, and breadth of records make it a unique scenario. Compliance under such conditions sets a new precedent for executive accountability. The court's insistence on rapid compliance demonstrates that no individual is immune from legal scrutiny, regardless of status or political influence. As the 72-hour deadline passes, we can anticipate several key developments. Immediate review and collection of financial, foreign, and electoral-related documents. Potential emergency motions from Trump's legal team to clarify scope or seek minor adjustments. Media coverage of emerging details, carefully filtered through legal and ethical frameworks. These events will shape not only Trump's legal future but also the broader public perception of justice and accountability in America. Your perspective is essential. Comment below. Do you think Trump will comply fully, partially, or resist? Which of these 3 document categories do you believe carries the most risk? How do you think this case will influence future presidential accountability? Remember, liking, sharing, and subscribing ensures these updates reach citizens who want accurate, in-depth legal analysis. As the 72-hour countdown ticks down, attention shifts to Trump's legal team. Reports from multiple sources describe Mar-a-Lago and Trump Tower as hubs of sudden crisis, where attorneys are scrambling to locate, review, and prepare nearly a decade of financial, business, and foreign-related documents. This is a legal environment unlike anything Trump's team has faced before. No prior warning from the Supreme Court. No ability to slow the timeline through appeals. No public filings to test arguments in advance. The result? A perfect storm of legal pressure, logistical complexity, and political optics. Within hours of the ruling, senior attorneys reportedly called emergency meetings, assessing document repositories, employee knowledge, and privilege considerations. Junior staff were mobilized to inventory emails, contracts, and foreign communications. Legal compliance teams faced simultaneous ethical and logistical dilemmas, ensuring that sensitive materials were not accidentally disclosed. Sources indicate that attorney morale is strained, with some reportedly questioning whether they can continue ethically representing Trump in this extreme scenario. The scale of documents requested is massive and unprecedented. Financial records dating back to 2015. Communications with redacted foreign nationals. Evidence potentially related to foreign influence in U.S. elections. Attorneys are tasked with reviewing, redacting, and compiling millions of pages under a tight 72-hour deadline. Legal scholars note this is far beyond typical compliance scenarios, even for corporate giants facing SEC subpoenas. The added complexity is that national security information may require specialized clearance to handle, adding further hurdles. Trump's legal team faces dual pressures. Compliance with a Supreme Court mandate, where any delay or misstep could result in contempt charges. Maintaining attorney-client privilege, which may be complicated when foreign communications and financial matters intersect with classified or sensitive national security data. Some attorneys have reportedly considered resignation, fearing ethical violations or professional liability if mishandling occurs. Such exits could destabilize the defense mid-crisis, leaving the former president vulnerable to both legal and procedural setbacks. Unlike routine court proceedings, public perception is immediate and amplified. Social media posts from Trump, including aggressive statements, could be used as evidence of intent to defy the court. Any leaks or partial disclosures risk creating narratives that sway public opinion or pressure prosecutors. Media experts caution that Trump's legal team must coordinate messaging carefully without violating the gag order or revealing sealed information. Missteps could inflate political tensions and affect trial outcomes. With only 72 hours, attorneys must simultaneously collect documents, review for privilege, and submit to courts. Compliance cannot be staggered. The Supreme Court explicitly forbade extensions. Any attempt to slow down the process risks civil or criminal contempt, including possible pretrial detention. This compressed timeline forces strategic prioritization, where the most critical documents must be located and processed first, while secondary items may follow under strict supervision. Legal experts predict several possible outcomes. Full compliance. Attorneys manage to meet the 72-hour deadline, possibly preventing contempt but still exposing Trump to potentially damaging evidence. Partial compliance, unintentional gaps, or delayed submissions could trigger contempt proceedings, further weakening his legal position. Intentional resistance, publicly defying the Supreme Court, would create a historic confrontation between the judiciary and a former president, with profound legal and political consequences. Each scenario carries significant risk, both in court and in the court of public opinion. Reports indicate that Trump is actively involved in decision-making, reportedly questioning staff, demanding status updates, and issuing instructions. Legal observers note, his involvement can both help and hinder compliance, depending on how well his directives align with legal strategy. High-pressure involvement may increase the likelihood of errors or conflicting actions, especially under the 72-hour deadline. The former president's leadership style, often confrontational and media-focused, amplifies the stakes for attorneys. This scenario highlights new precedent for high-profile legal compliance. Former presidents may now face rapid, uncompromising judicial orders without prior notice. Executive privilege and claims of immunity cannot shield individuals from court-mandated compliance. Legal teams must anticipate that future cases could adopt similar secrecy and speed, especially in matters involving national security. The Supreme Court's action signals that no one is beyond scrutiny, emphasizing accountability at the highest levels. We want your thoughts. Could Trump's legal team realistically meet this 72-hour deadline? Which compliance scenario do you think is most likely? How should the public interpret this unprecedented Supreme Court action? Engage with us by liking, sharing, and commenting. Your participation ensures critical analysis reaches citizens interested in real-time, in-depth legal reporting. With the Supreme Court ruling now public, the political arena is reacting with unprecedented intensity. Analysts, reporters, and citizens alike are grappling with a scenario that could reshape the 2026 political landscape. News outlets across the country are covering the story. Cable news and online media emphasize the surprise nature of the ruling. Social media platforms are flooded with discussions, debates, and trending hashtags. Citizens are divided, reflecting the polarized nature of contemporary U.S. politics. Public sentiment ranges from outrage to curiosity, and the ruling has immediately become a focal point in political discourse. Among Trump's base, many perceive the ruling as an attack by a politically motivated judiciary. Some view it as proof of systemic bias against the former president. Calls to rally, protest, and defend Trump online have spiked dramatically. Despite these reactions, the ruling is legally binding, meaning supporters cannot change its requirements, only offer political or media commentary. For critics of Trump, this is a moment of accountability highlighting the legal system's ability to hold even former presidents responsible. Analysts suggest that this ruling could weaken Trump's influence on the Republican Party, particularly among undecided voters. Legal experts speculate that this may affect Trump's messaging and fundraising efforts, potentially slowing campaign operations. Lawmakers from both parties are closely watching. Some Republicans express concern about procedural overreach, but acknowledge that the court's action is within its authority. Democrats highlight the importance of transparency and adherence to rule of law, using the ruling as a case study in presidential accountability. Congressional hearings may reference this ruling to discuss reforms in presidential immunity, executive privilege, and compliance requirements. Media coverage spans domestic and international platforms. International press frames this as a historic moment in American law and politics, emphasizing the separation of powers. Legal analysts abroad highlight that U.S. courts now hold former leaders accountable in real time. Media framing will influence public understanding, with some outlets portraying it as a legal shock, others as a political maneuver. This ruling could reshape political dynamics for the upcoming election cycle. Trump's credibility may be eroded among undecided voters, especially if documents reveal damaging financial or foreign interactions. Opponents may use the situation to highlight systemic accountability, contrasting with Trump's legal confrontations. Trump loyalists may double down, viewing the ruling as proof of a deep state agenda, which could mobilize a defensive political bloc. Analysts predict a volatile landscape, where legal developments are directly intertwined with voter perception and campaign strategy. Historically, legal challenges of this magnitude affect electoral campaigns, fundraising, and public speeches, influence media narratives and social discourse, shape policy discussions and legislative priorities. For Trump, the stakes are particularly high. Every document produced, every court appearance, every public statement has potential political consequences. This moment provides an opportunity to educate viewers on how the Supreme Court functions in secret proceedings, the limits of executive privilege and presidential immunity, the importance of timely compliance with judicial orders. By highlighting these points, the audience gains both legal insight and civic understanding, enhancing the video's educational value while remaining engaging. To maximize engagement, encourage viewers to subscribe for updates as new information emerges. Ask them to comment their perspective on Trump's compliance and legal strategy. Invite viewers to share the video with friends and family interested in political and legal analysis. These CTAs drive interaction without appearing spammy, which improves algorithmic performance and organic reach. As we reach the conclusion of this unprecedented legal story, it is crucial to understand the full gravity of the Supreme Court's ruling and the potential outcomes for Donald Trump, his legal team, and American politics. Trump now faces strict deadlines and legal obligations. 72-hour compliance with the subpoena for financial records, communications, and sensitive documents. Severe penalties for failure, including civil and criminal contempt, potentially leading to pretrial detention. No further appeals available. This is the final and binding decision. Legal experts emphasize that even former presidents are not above the law, and this ruling reinforces the judiciary's authority to compel compliance regardless of political status. While there have been high-profile presidential legal cases, this scenario is historically unique. United States versus Nixon, 1974, required the surrender of White House tapes. However, Nixon had time to prepare and resign strategically. Past Supreme Court rulings involving presidents were public and anticipated, unlike the secret proceedings in this case. This ruling represents a new paradigm, sealed, urgent, and completely unexpected. The implications are clear. Future presidents will now operate under a precedent that the courts can act decisively, even in secret, when national interests demand it. Beyond Trump's personal legal exposure, this ruling has wide-reaching consequences. Executive accountability reinforces the principle that no one, regardless of office, can ignore lawful subpoenas. Political transparency demonstrates that hidden investigations can emerge suddenly with serious consequences. Public trust in institutions. The judiciary's ability to act independently strengthens faith in checks and balances. These points are vital for viewers seeking context beyond partisan debates, highlighting the legal system's function in American democracy. With the 2026 elections approaching, Trump's campaign may face disruption due to legal distractions. Opponents may use the ruling to question Trump's integrity and judgment. Supporters may perceive the ruling as an attack on conservative leadership, potentially mobilizing defensive voting blocs. Political analysts predict that legal developments now directly intersect with electoral strategies, creating a volatile campaign landscape. Failure to adhere to the court's orders would trigger civil and criminal contempt proceedings. Possible pretrial detention, an extraordinary event for a former U.S. president. Heightened scrutiny in ongoing and future investigations, potentially expanding legal exposure. Compliance is the only path that allows Trump to mitigate consequences, although the content of the documents may still have serious political and legal ramifications. Media framing will shape public perception. Neutral outlets focus on legal procedure, compliance, and historical precedent. Supportive outlets may frame the ruling as an unjust attack. Opposition outlets emphasize accountability and transparency. For viewers, understanding how narratives are constructed is essential to interpreting ongoing developments critically. This story is not just about politics. It illustrates Supreme Court authority and judicial power, highlights the limits of presidential immunity and executive privilege, provides insight into how secret proceedings and sealed subpoenas function. Educating your audience ensures your content is informative, engaging, and algorithm-friendly while remaining within YouTube's content policies. The Supreme Court's ruling is a landmark event in U.S. political and legal history. It sends a message: no individual is above the law. Judicial authority can act decisively, even in secrecy, when necessary. Transparency and compliance are essential for democratic accountability. This moment will be studied for years to come, influencing future presidencies, legal strategies, and public expectations. As we close this video, stay tuned for future updates on Trump's legal compliance and related cases. Remember, understanding these developments requires critical thinking, civic awareness, and informed discussion. Your engagement, likes, comments, shares, and subscriptions helps ensure accurate information reaches a wider audience. Thank you for watching, and don't miss the next in-depth analysis of American legal and political history.